Let us change our view and think of saving money to invest, not just saving money as an end to itself. So the banks have taken advantage of that perception. The banks have taken advantage of our people, and therefore they make money off the people who keep money in there. So imagine you save, let's say, 1,000 Kenya shillings or $1,000 in a bank. So let's say I go to the bank as a borrower and I borrow the same money that you deposited there. So I'm gonna borrow that money, I'm gonna use the money, and I'm gonna pay the bank back with a lot of interest. And that's the funny thing. So you give them your money, I go borrow the money, I go use the money and pay them back with interest. Hello people, welcome to our weekly financial literacy show brought to you by Ken's Money Matters and KDR TV, which is Kenya Diaspora Television. Otherwise, last week we spoke about long-term thinking with regards to investing. And this week I want to talk about something completely different. This week I want to talk about how the banks are making you poor. Now this is one of the things that I always talk to most people who come to me about. I tell them, you know what? The banks are not there to make you rich. The banks are not there to help you make money. But we have been brought up in a system whereby banks were a normal thing. Saving money was normal, yes, because we were always saving for a rainy day. I don't know why we were always saving for a rainy day, but I do know that we always saved money for a rainy day. I do not know if the rainy day ever came, even though it's a good principle to always have an emergency fund. And that's one of the things that financial coaches will always tell you, or financial experts, they will always tell you that it's important to have an emergency fund. But we were taught as black people, and this one I have to narrow down to black people, that you need to save money for a rainy day. But we didn't know how do you save that money. Now, it ended up affecting how we save money. It ended up affecting how we make money. It ended up affecting our view of money. So our view of money was that you need to go to work and need to save money. People do not become rich by just saving money. And this is a really bad fallacy. It's a bad kind of thinking. It's a thinking that has kept most people poor. So I'm going to tell you why I do believe that banks are making you poor. Banks keep you poor, and banks are there to make you poor. It's there to take money from those who work too hard to those who work smart. So if you want to be among those who are working smart, you're the one taking money from the bank. But those who are working so hard are always giving the money to the bank for the bank to make more money. Now, how does the bank keep you poor? Because of the mindset that we had to save money all the time, because of the mindset that saving money was such a coveted and a good thing, we were not told, why are you saving the money? Now, why you should save money is because you want to invest that money. It's because you want your money to work for you. It's because you want your money to go out there and bring you more money. They say money is like a soldier, a good soldier. It's supposed to go to the field and bring you in more money. So as you struggle to make more money in your own career or whatever business, whatever you're doing, that money in the field should be bringing you in more money. This is an important point to make, that your money should never be borrowed. A lot of our money as black people is borrowed money. It's money that's sitting in a bank. That's why we have people who have been earning lots of money for years, but they cannot achieve financial freedom because the money that they have been saving is not making them any money. Actually, it is losing value, as I will demonstrate in a few minutes. So if you think about the idea of saving money, let us change our view and think of saving money to invest, not just saving money as an end to itself. So the banks have taken advantage of that perception. The banks have taken advantage of our people, and therefore they make money off the people who keep money in there. So imagine you save, let's say, 1,000 Kenya shillings or $1,000 in a bank. So let's say I go to the bank as a borrower and I borrow the same money that you deposited there. So I'm going to borrow that money, I'm going to use the money, and I'm going to pay the bank back with a lot of interest. And that's the funny thing. So you give them your money, I go borrow the money, I go use the money and pay them back with interest. So they are making money off you. At the same time, you would find that either they're charging you fees for keeping that money. If they are not charging you fees for keeping the money, then you can be sure that the money is losing value because of inflation. Inflation is basically when the price of commodities go high in relation to the currency. So when there is inflation, it means that the same thing that could be bought by just $1 cannot be bought by $1 anymore. It's now costing, let's say, $2, for example. So that's inflation. It means the prices of goods change in relation to the economy. In that sense, if you keep your money in the bank, you are continuously and consistently losing value. Now, why is it important for our people to know this? It's because most people keep their money in the bank as a way of trying to get rich. Nobody can get rich by saving money in the bank. It's not possible. I've not seen anyone do it. You cannot achieve financial freedom by just consistently keeping money in the bank, unless you are earning millions and millions of money every single month or every single year. So banks have always made our people poor. You don't need to save money in the bank. You need to find ways in which you can use the bank as a point of transaction. The bank should basically be an avenue of transaction. It should be able to help you or facilitate transactions in your life. It should not be a place whereby you go and deposit your money, dump it there and leave it there and expect it to make you money. So the banks have been choreographed and made to make you poor, because the banks are supposed to take money, like I said, from the poor people, from the hardworking people, to those who are working smart. So those who know how to use leverage, those who know how to use the money from the bank to make themselves money, will not work so hard trying to get the money. No, because you made the money for them. So they simply come to the bank, they take your money, they go and do something good, they leverage the money, and then they bring you back your money in the bank. The bank takes its cut, and your bank money comes back to you the same amount it was. And remember the inflation. So at the end of the day, your money actually has lost value. Whatever your money could afford 5 years before, it can't afford anymore, but it's the same amount of money you have been given by the bank. So this is something that's very common amongst the black communities. We are very safe. We are people who do not want to venture out and go and take risks. We don't want to take risks and ensure that we can make more money. But for us to build generational wealth, for us to start building wealth that will be there for generations and generations and for our children, we have to start thinking, you know what, the bank is basically an avenue of transaction. It's not supposed to be where you keep your money and get rich. So the idea of saving money without having a very clear plan of what you want to do with the money is an idea that is outdated. It's an idea that keeps you poor. It's an idea that kept our parents poor, because most of them saved lots of money in the banks without actually knowing where they could invest the money. We have not been taught of investment opportunities or investment avenues. We've only been taught of where to keep that money. And keeping money safely in a bank does not help you in any way. You have to be able to take certain risks. And sometimes there are investment vehicles that don't have to be as risky as people imagine. So we have a lot of young people who are making good money, but they're not able to venture out there and take certain risks. They have their money sitting in a bank somewhere. What I'm telling you today is that that bank is making you poor, the money is losing value, and somebody else somewhere is busy making their lives and making their dreams come true using that same money, including the bank itself, of course, because the bank is taking a cut each time. So think differently. Think of a bank as just an avenue for transactions. There are many investment opportunities. If you don't have any, stay tuned at this financial literacy platform, and we will be talking about different investment options. And if you want more information, head on to Ken's Money Matters. There is so much information there. Support Ken's Money Matters, and let's continue on this financial literacy journey. If you have any suggestions or anything you want us to discuss on this platform, feel free to comment, feel free to tell us, and we will incorporate those ideas. So financial literacy is gonna be here for a long time. Stay tuned, and we hope to see you next session. Thank you.